Hey crafty friends, this is Nye here. So today what we are going to be doing, we are going to be assembling our Merry Christmas candles sign. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue for all of my gluing. And as you can see, I have all of my pieces, they're cut out and they are lined up and stacked and ready for gluing. Today's craft is just going to be a lot of it's a layered project. So we're just going to be doing a lot of gluing and just layering the pieces on top of each other. I also have my tweezers here that I'm going to be using. I've got two. I got these new ones. So I kind of like them, but I'm still figuring out if they're going to become my new favorite. So what you can see here now is, as I said, I have all of my pieces. They are lined up and stacked up in order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start gluing down some of these pieces right here. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because of these smaller pieces, I don't want them to get lost here on my table. And I got glue on my hand and I don't see my paper towel right here. So I added it there. I'm going to grab this one here just to get that and then just kind of wipe this one right here. Okay. And then I'm going to, let me make sure that's lined up. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right here for these berries. I'm going to use my tweezers just to pick those up. And then just placing it down. And putting it right there in the right position, okay? So I'm gonna put that one down right up there. I'm gonna do the same thing here on the other side and just gluing these down. Now, this was one of those crafts that, if you remember, as I told you, it definitely needed a newer mat. It was because of these fine pieces and, you know, the detail of the branches here and the leaves, it needed a newer mat. And even at this size. Now, I cut mine at a size where it could fit on a 4x6 blank card. So like if you wanted to put this one on a card, you definitely could. This is big enough that it would fit on a 4x6 card. Like if you had a blank one, you could just add it right to the top. But I would not cut it any smaller. It was even challenging for me it cut fine, but it was definitely challenging for me to take it off of the mat. And I had to use a newer mat to cut it, only to make sure that the cardstock didn't shift when I was cutting it. Let me see if I can measure it here so you guys can see. So 4x6, the width here is kind of coming out to about 5.75. And then let's do the height. Let's see. This one is, well, it's pretty close to the 4. So I'd probably say it's about probably 3.75. So it would fit on a 4x6 card. But like I said, I would not cut it any smaller. I would leave it at the size that it is when you open the file. Now, if you want to make this larger, I think this would look amazing larger, especially like if you wanted to add some twine at the back to make it for hanging. It would look amazing. I think this would I think it would be beautiful. But I definitely wanted to make sure that this one was an option for those who like to make Christmas cards, because I thought it was really pretty. And I think a recipient would really enjoy getting this one here for Christmas. So as you can see now, I kind of moved on to the candles next. Again, only because these pieces are a little bit smaller and I don't want them to get lost here on my table. Sometimes these smaller pieces, they are just so small and they are enough that if you just brush your arm, it could fall off of your table and then good luck maybe trying to find it. I don't know. Okay, so the two candles that are in the front, there's a brown piece and a yellow piece for the flame. So all I'm doing is I'm gluing these down and so I don't lose them. And so this part will probably take the longest, just kind of trying to get some of these smaller pieces first. But when we go to layer the larger pieces, I might speed up the video So that way it goes a little bit faster because it's really just going to be gluing everything together and lining everything up. Okay, so we've got this one here. I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'm going to work here on the signs. Now, when you're going to glue the signs here, again, I'm going to start with this brown one. As you can see, like you can see this brown one, right? These two parts here, I tried to make them as thick as I could when I was designing it, but it's still thin. And so you do just kind of want to make sure that when you're pulling everything off of that mat, that you really are just taking your time. And so you can see I'm going on and I'm just adding the glue here to the back, and I'm just adding a little bit of glue. Do not go crazy adding the glue here because it will seep out. It just needs a little bit to make sure that it stays adhered. And so I'm making sure though that I'm going in and getting all of the little branches to make sure that those stick down. And then I'm going to hold this one. Whoops, I just bent this one. How do I want to do it? Let's see. I'm going to hold it here because I started to bend this one. Okay, I'm going to grab this one here in the center. Maybe not. Right here at the edge. And again. Okay. So it's just really, really delicate and gentle here. And then I'm holding it between my fingers and I'm using my fingers as a guide to help me line it up. I'm going to do the same thing right here, just making sure that these pieces are all lining up and layering right on top of each other. And there we go. All right, so the first part's done. And this sign part is the hardest part that you have to do because there's a little bit more weight to the cardstock, the pieces that are in the back. There's a little bit more to it. And so you don't have to worry as much. You're more likely to get everything. But these 3 layers here with the sign are the hardest. And so you can see the letters. Just kind of go in between with the letters. Get a little bit here just to make sure that they stick down and that they don't come up, because you don't want anything to rip, especially if you make it into a card where it's going to have to go in and out of an envelope. Okay, and so just adding the glue here. That looks pretty good. And the same thing, I'm going to hold it here at the side. I'm going to grab this piece. I'm just going to do it that way and pull it out of the camera and off the edge of my table. And so I'm using my fingers here to line everything up. And then again, just making sure that I get that one right there. And just pressing everything down. Okay. And so now what we can do is we can take this piece, these two, I don't know what I would call this, maybe more like the mistletoe. Ah, it almost looks like. All right, let me, yeah, I'm going to hold it with my tweezers here. There we go. That's much better. Why didn't I think of that in the first place, right? Okay, so I'm just adding my glue here. I'm going to switch it this way. And let's make sure that you get the orientation correct. And then just pressing everything down. All right. And so, ooh, it's already taking shape. I love it. I always have fun when I'm crafting because once it starts to take shape, I'm like, oh, yay, here it comes together. Are you guys like that too? Hopefully you are, and I'm not alone. Could just be something about me though. All right. So I'm still just adding glue here to the back. And then I'm going to do the same thing. It's just kind of pressing it down and layering it one right on top of the other. I'm going to lift it again just to make sure that everything is lining up. And that looks great. I love it. Okay. So now for these back pieces here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to work my way from the back to the front. I'm going to speed up the video a little bit here because it's only going to be just layering and gluing one right on top of the other, okay? So here we go. So this was another one of those too. I'm talking a little bit early while I'm still gluing, because it needed like 5 different shades of red. You could have done some where you use the same shade for like a couple of the pieces, but it does look really neat when you do go ahead and use the different shades of red. And I really like how it turned out with doing that. You can see like this back piece of the candle is a different shade of red, and then the dripping wax is a different shade, and then this one here, and then this dripping wax is a different shade, and then even the mistletoes on the berry, or the berries on the mistletoe, those are a different shade of red. And so I just really liked how it turned out. But you could also, like, if you wanted to make your candles a different color, you could have gone with like a tan. That would look really neat as well. And so here we are. I'm coming to the end of gluing everything down. I think this might be one of my favorites. I just really love how it turned out. And so all we're going to do now is add the glue here to the back of the sign, and then we're going to add this one to the whole piece, and then that will finish it. And so I really hope that you guys enjoyed this craft. Be sure to like this video. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything and you get to see what are the new projects here. And so I'm just ready to layer it on. And oh, I think I might have to cut it in a larger size because I just really like it, just so I can hang it up in my house here too. And so here it is, and it will fit perfectly on a 4x6 card with an envelope. It's just gorgeous and beautiful. I love it. Okay, so once again, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.